Hello and welcome. My name is Kalika, and this is my first YouTube video. Thank you for being here. I decided to create a new channel around the dangers of online business opportunities and coaching and the slippery slope down to scams and commercial cults. So naturally, of course, we have to talk about MLMs. Now, they could be called network marketing or referral marketing, direct sales, social retail, social selling. There's a lot of different names that people within that industry have for what they do, but it's essentially any type of company that sells a product, whether it's tangible or intangible, and they also have a business opportunity attached. So when there's a pitch, there's two sides to it. There is the product side, and then there is the business side. MLM is what has led me to this point. We were primarily using the term network marketing when I was involved, which was in 2015. And until 2022, I was involved in 3 different network marketing companies as well as online business coaching. I have shared my story at length on an interview with Julie Anderson on her YouTube channel. She is an incredible creator. She's been a huge help in me leaving. I will definitely link that interview in her channel below, and I've also shared it on my own channel. So if you want to hear more about my experience within the industry and what kind of led me to this point of creating this channel, feel free to watch that video. It's about 2 hours long, but I do think it was informative and hopefully helpful. Thankfully, I've been out almost a year now. It's been a lot of healing. It has not been a linear process. It's taking off the rose-colored glasses and, understanding life outside the organization again, learning what I believe in and what my priorities are, learning my critical thinking skills and my researching skills again, coming to terms with the impact it had on my life, the impact it had on some of my relationships that were affected, the financial toll that it took on me, some of the life choices that were impacted by my being involved. There's a lot to unpack. But again, that's what's brought me here and brought me to a point of wanting to share that journey with you and speak out, because I know a lot of the feelings that I am feeling, I am not alone in. There's other people out there that could relate, or maybe they've never experienced something like this, but if I can put some warning signs out there to prevent future involvement, I will. I think that's a very worthwhile cause. So now I'm ready to talk about it out loud, and add to the conversation in the hopes that one day enough people will know about this and be aware when they are being recruited or when they do come across these companies that they don't sign up, and eventually the pyramids will fall. So here we go. I wanted to make my first video about the main reasons that I am firmly taking an anti-MLM stance and wanting to create content about this. I do have a few notes in front of me because things do still get very jumbled for me, and I get so caught up and passionate that I lose my train of thought as well. So if you see me looking down, I'm just looking at a few notes that I've made for myself so that I can be clear and kind of keep myself on track and make the points that I want to make. So first and foremost, this business model, and I say that word loosely because it is, in my opinion, a scam, not an actual business. But the business model is unsustainable, and it is statistically impossible for the vast majority of people to even make a livable wage, let alone create time and money freedom. This is a proven fact. According to a study done by John Taylor for the Consumer Awareness Institute, and this is shared on the FTC's website, 99.7% of all MLM participants will lose money throughout their involvement. They spend more money on the opportunity than they ever make in commissions. This statistic holds true across the entire industry, across all the companies that follow this model. And it's actually designed that way on purpose. It's designed in a way for a very few people with huge downlines to make a lot of money as long as there's a flow of new recruits coming in and paying to join, paying to be involved. There aren't obviously an infinite number of people to recruit, so this becomes unsustainable. Soon you will run out of people. The companies then release new products, or they open up in new countries to have a new flow of recruits coming in. Or leaders will jump to another company for a fresh compensation plan and a fresh set of bonuses, or they start companies of their own so that they can ensure they're at the top and stay at the top of the new company. I do want to read a quote from that John Taylor study that says, "A 99% loss rate wouldn't be so serious, except that in opportunity meetings, the MLM is touted as the path to financial freedom, and the earnings of top distributors are displayed, but with no mention of the abysmal odds of getting there." The way compensation plans are built, its structure heavily incentivizes building a giant downline in which commissions grow exponentially at each level. This is based on an endless chain of recruitment in an infinite market, which is an impossibility. Most people will not be able to recruit many levels deep in their organization just due to market saturation and lack of actual demand in the marketplace for their product. They will spend money to get involved and spend more money to stay involved. This outweighs the commissions that most people make. So the pay plan is designed to financially reward 1% at the expense of all of the others. The second thing that really grinds my gears is the perversion of self-development. Now, if 99.7% of people are going to lose money by getting involved, no matter what, hard work does not change that statistic. Your mindset does not change that statistic. Belief does not change that statistic. But when you join to create another stream of income, you're told that anybody can do this business. You get out what you put in. If you're willing to do the work, you can create time and money freedom and generational wealth for your family. You just have to believe in yourself and what you do. Personal development lies at the heart of these companies because you're told you have to do the inner work as well as the outer work. I think personal development is awesome. I think it's important to work to become a better person, having worthwhile achievements that you're working towards, learning new perspectives, and how to be a healthy and productive member of society. I think that's awesome if that's what you want to do. And of course, you get to define what that means to you. It's personal development for a reason. In network marketing, however, which is not a business, but an income opportunity scam, personal development is used to manipulate people to keep them working and paying into the scheme, paying for products and trainings to stay involved. So when your paycheck goes down, or you hit that rank and then you lose it, or you don't make any money at all, but you keep doing the action steps that they're telling you to take, the real reason that that's happening is because your actual chances of success in something like this are 0.03%. But you think it's because you didn't work hard enough, or that you need to work on your mindset and build your belief. Personal development is used to keep you thinking that you have more work to do on yourself so that you can continue to be taken advantage of. I do want to touch on one more thing about self-help and personal development and coaching and human potential. Again, like I said, I think it's a wonderful journey to undertake if that's what you feel like you want to do to grow as a person. But let that be an inside job. Don't let anyone else dictate what that looks like for you. Be wary of leaders, gurus, coaches, influencers that are going to continue to sell you something, whether that's a book or a course or one-on-one coaching. Be careful of following one person and letting them continuously sell you. Don't stay in one person's pipeline without questioning. Consider different sources. Seek professional help from those who are actually held to a code of ethics. Make sure that you stay in control of the direction of your personal development. No one else can teach you really how to develop the way you need to as a person. Your life experience is already going to do that for you. Don't internalize someone else's ideologies just because you look up to them. And remember, success in this arena is often intangible. It's not like a specific goal that you hit. You never really finish personally developing. It's not quantifiable. You don't need to continuously strive to improve who you are to the point where you're putting tremendous amounts of pressure on yourself. You are perfect the way that you are. All right, number 3. Recruiting is deceptive and manipulative. These companies only stay afloat when there's new recruits coming in. This is because the newest recruits are trying to climb out of the red, and because of the incredibly high loss rates, there's a really high rate of attrition as well. So a lot of people are leaving all the time. So those people who do have a team are constantly recruiting to replace the people that have left. This is so they don't lose their rank and their paycheck. As a result, recruiting is crucial to the survival of the organization. But from the very beginning, it's laced with deception. Oftentimes, reps don't even make it clear that they're trying to recruit you. Sometimes you think you've made a new friend until they pitch you. They say they're trying to help you with a solution to a problem, or just share something that they're excited about. They'll lie and say that the abysmal loss rates are because people just signed up for the discount, or they didn't really try to actually build the business. They just signed up and didn't do anything. Often, reps and companies create FOMO to manufacture urgency to essentially pressure you into joining and making a decision quickly. Full business opportunity disclosures are not made the way they are with businesses like franchises, for example. Independent research is discouraged, so is looking things up online or asking other people what they think. Rather than being shown hard data and a business plan, you're told rags to riches stories that just tug on your heartstrings and make you believe that you can do it too. If they can do it, I can do it. You're shown an oversimplified way of making money. They make it seem a lot easier than it actually is. And considering the loss rates, claiming that you can make any kind of money is in itself deceptive. Most people lose money. That's a fact. Reps also use emotional manipulation and religious manipulation to lure people in. Whether it's oversharing about past trauma to others who are in that position so that they can relate, or claiming that, good network marketers are servant leaders and they're doing the work of God. They appeal to people who resonate with those specific beliefs or experiences, and they particularly prey on people when they're at a time of vulnerable stress in their life. In addition, you're asked about, your goals and your pain points and your why. Your why is a really big deal. You're supposed to have a why that makes you cry. They ask about this because they want to use it to manipulate you. When you are questioning whether you should join or questioning whether you should stay in, now that you've told them this personal information about what your dreams are, they use that as collateral to keep you in. Okay, this next one, the ridiculous health and income claims. Absolutely wild. In the process of recruiting and all throughout training, these companies are making some wild claims. Financial freedom and time freedom are pitched as the dream, attainable just with hard work and perseverance, even though most people lose money. Words like residual income and passive income are thrown around and used incorrectly as a lure. I believe in that same John Taylor study, and I think this was of New Skin, but again, these statistics hold across the industry, only 1 in 25,000, I believe it was, people actually make a consistent residual income. And again, that's not the right term to describe it. Where that money is actually coming from is building a giant downline so that there's people below you doing the work and you're getting paid off of their efforts. That's where the paychecks are coming from. Every event will have the same few top earners sharing their success stories, and it becomes anecdotal. You're not shown any actual, again, hard data. These are, one-off stories of somebody who created change in their life. And that becomes the defense of these stories as well. I'm not claiming that you can do it, but I'm just sharing what I did, whether that's a health or an income claim. As far as health claims go, they're absolutely ridiculous as well. From weight loss to chronic illness to mental health, reps and companies treat their products as a cure-all. And they claim that they're the only ones doing it, even though they're all saying the same things. It's pretty funny. The reps aren't regulated and neither is the supplement industry, so people do get away with saying a lot of things that they're technically not supposed to say. Transformation stories and before and after stories are manufactured on a large scale. When you join, at least for me, and I've seen this across other companies as well, you want to create your product story, a testimonial, your business testimonial. I showed 20 people and 10 of them signed up, and now my organization's grown to 3,000, thank you to your company. And you're taught to manufacture these stories even if you really haven't created a success yet. A lot of it's fabricated so that you can say, before this and after this is my transformation. You can have it too. It gets pretty bad. I get pretty frustrated, especially when there's dangerous things going on where people are online scrolling social media and they see like a health coach talking about getting people healthy when in reality they're promoting a starvation diet in which their clients are, and I shouldn't even say their clients, their downline, the people that they've recruited or sold to, are essentially consuming less calories than it even takes for your body to function day to day. They have no credentials as a health coach, should not be coaching people on what to eat and what not to eat and how much and when to eat, yet they are, and it's going unregulated. The same thing with mental health. You have people selling nootropics and, again, supplements that are supposed to help with cognitive function and make you happier and give you mental clarity and cure your brain fog. You're not allowed to say any of those things, yet they are out there saying those things. And what's even worse is that stories are being shared of people getting off of their actual mental health medication, their prescribed medication for actual diagnoses, in lieu of taking an MLM product. And nobody should ever go off any medication for their mental health without consulting their doctor first, who put them on that medication in the first place. That is very dangerous. And while we're on the topic of mental health, the next reason is the fact that network marketing is bad for the mental health of the reps. Like, sure, yes, there's some good in learning to read books and having some structure in your day and having a community, but those are all things you can find without network marketing. There are a lot of reasons that I think this is bad for your mental health. I'm just going to kind of point out a couple. I mean, I could talk about this all day, but essentially there's a few main ones that stood out to me that I personally experienced or saw other people experiencing. The first one is you're working hard as a rep, you're grinding your face off. Inevitably, you face the struggle of going backwards in your business, and that is because it is unsustainable. But when you're working that hard and not seeing results, it starts to eat away at your self-confidence. You start to doubt yourself. Like, you keep setting the same goals and you keep not hitting them. That wears you down. It makes you feel like there's something wrong with you. Again, this is how it's prefaced when you're brought in, but then it's reinforced by your lack of results, even though your lack of results aren't due to a lack of hard work. It's due to a flawed model. Under the guise of pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, I mean, I can definitely relate to this. You're told to pitch your best friend, or say you're taught to cold message 10 people online, and it feels weird, it feels cringy, it feels like something I do not want to do. And you're taught to push through that and go ahead and do those things. And the thing is, yeah, I understand getting uncomfortable to grow, but a lot of times after you do that, you feel really icky about yourself because you know something just feels off, like in your gut. You feel really crappy about yourself after you've followed up with somebody, after they've already told you no. Because deep down, you know you're not respecting that boundary. But you're told, oh, that's just pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. Way to go. Way to grow. Obviously, MLMs can put people in a financially really, really tough situation. And I saw a lot of people spend the last money that they had to go to training or pay for the next month of whatever. And you're encouraged to do those things, but that puts you in a place of security and stability. It leads to you making decisions out of desperation and from survival mode, and it leads to short-term thinking, which generally leads to more poor decisions, and this just leads to a negative spiral that some people get trapped in for a really long time. People are still paying off debt that they've racked up in MLM. Years and years later, this is affecting your choices and your standard of living and the things that you're able to do in your life because you've incurred all of this debt. And the amount of indoctrination that's mixed in with personal development dulls your critical thinking skills. So mixed in with all this personal development, you are getting kind of sold the beliefs of the company and the community. Even though it doesn't always make sense to you or what they're saying, there's a grain of truth. So you're like, okay, maybe I'm just not understanding it yet. So you just stay and you try to understand even though it doesn't make sense. They're actually using thought-stopping techniques to keep you from really questioning it or making sense of everything in the system, So this leads to a point where your brain just gets overwhelmed and you just start to blindly accept what you're hearing from the experts, whether that's in your company or in the industry. This also makes you susceptible to being taken advantage of by other cults, scams, destructive groups, conspiracy theories, and even narcissistic personalities. Loss of identity is also a really, really prevalent problem, both as you are falling deeper into the organization and when you're trying to pull yourself out. Because when you're going in, they take who you are and they kind of start to modify it a little bit. They kind of start to have everyone have the same kind of belief system, or they dress the same, or they look the same, and you create your identity story about the group, and you kind of lose who you were beforehand. Oftentimes you start spending more time with the people in the organization and not so much your friends outside. You stop doing some of those hobbies and things that you were doing before, because basically anything just for leisure is kind of villainized. You're technically supposed to be just working your business all the time. And so you kind of lose who you were before you joined. And then when you're trying to extract yourself from the whole thing, it has now creeped into every aspect of your life. So when you leave, you feel like there's huge chunks of your life missing. And all of the accomplishments that you have or had within the group, they really don't mean anything in the outside world. So you lose your sense of accomplishment as well, because you really feel like you were working hard and making a difference while you were involved. And when you get out and you realize the truth of what it was and how it all really didn't mean anything, you kind of don't remember who you are anymore. A few other things I wanted to touch on. Toxic positivity is rampant in these circles. You are confined to a very narrow range of emotions, and they pretty much always should be positive. You're not supposed to express any doubt or criticism. If you do, it's supposed to only go to your upline. Don't talk to anybody else about it. And you're honestly taught to deny a lot of the emotions, the normal emotions that are part of a normal human experience that we all should be feeling and processing in a healthy way. We're not when we're in an MLM. That in itself is awful for people who are on top of that struggling with mental health disorders. And then you have the perfectionists, overachieving syndrome. You always want to do the best. If you're not succeeding, like, oh my gosh, what is wrong? I got to fix this. You're in a failing model. So the chances of you having continuous success are like marginal to none. And so this leads to burnout. You're grinding harder and harder and harder and harder. Oh, I prospected 10 people today. I got to prospect 20 tomorrow. Suddenly it becomes 200. You're working harder and harder, and this just leads to burnout. Okay, my next point. Network marketers are an insult to trained professionals. Reps are offering advice based on their own personal experience or a story they heard of a friend, and they're motivated by getting paid off of you. They're motivated by commission. So this is what they're making recommendations off of, not actually helping the person. And so they're hurting people on a large scale. And specifically, again, I'm talking about personal trainers, dietitians, mental health counselors, therapists, people that actually went to school and got trained and have an education and have been certified and taken licensing tests and are held to a code of ethics. These are the people that exist in our community to be able to help with those problems. And now we're inundated with network marketers posing as health coaches or life coaches or whatever title they give themselves, offering advice without any expertise, motivated by making money off of you, and actually getting through to people when they're vulnerable, because they're like, oh man, my friend lost 10 pounds. I'd really want to lose 10 pounds. And instead of going to a dietitian or a personal trainer, they just buy the MLM product from their friend. Who knows if this person is going to get any actual results? The point is, there are professionals out there that have worked on their careers and dedicated their lives to becoming experts in their field and operate ethically, and network marketers are out here just devaluing everything that they do. Also, shout out to Hannah Alonso. She mentioned this point in one of her videos, and honestly, I thought she phrased it so well. I did want to make that point because the internet has given all of us an access to a wealth of information, but it's also allowed anybody to have a voice. And the voices of the trained professionals and the experts in their fields that are out there are getting drowned out by network marketers just trying to make a paycheck off of you. We are on number 7. We're almost through. Oof, I keep kicking the camera. Sorry about that. First video, guys. So sorry. Okay, number 7, the destruction of authentic relationships. When you join one of these groups, you start to distance yourself from your friends and family, because more likely than not, there's somebody out there that, even if they don't attack you, they might say something that encourages you to critically think about the organization you're getting involved with, or maybe they don't want to buy your product or they don't want to join your team. You are taught that anybody who doesn't wholeheartedly support what you do is an unsupportive hater. You're taught that they're haters, and you're taught to, if you're close to them, maybe not necessarily cut them out, but you're taught to distance yourself from them, spend less time with them. And if it's like random friends or acquaintances or strangers on the internet, you're just taught to block them. They're just haters, and you don't need that negativity in your life. You don't need to listen to anybody that doesn't believe or understand what you're doing. Obviously, you can't cut everybody off. Thankfully, you shouldn't cut everybody off like your parents or your siblings or your spouse, but oftentimes, especially with spouses, the money pit that is network marketing becomes a point of financial stress in a relationship. So oftentimes, when someone's really deep in an MLM, their friends and family have to cut them off financially, and that can create some serious rifts in marriages and parent-child relationships. And those are things that some people have a really hard time recovering from. MLM is pitched that you can just build it in the pockets of your time, but you're also trained to kind of like bring it into every aspect of your life. So even if you think that you're hardly working and you have all this time freedom, you're pretty much always on your phone, answering messages, getting back to people, hopping on team calls, talking to your upline, whatever it is. And so you're constantly working. So even though a lot of network marketers say they retired themselves or retired their wife or husband or their stay-at-home mom, they're on their phones the entire time. So they're not actually present with the people in their lives that matter. A lot of reps after they've left have said that their kids said that they were thankful to have their parent back because they're not constantly on their phone trying to make a sale. Relationships do become transactional. Everybody turns into a mark. I am so ashamed to say this, but it needs to be talked about. Pretty much everybody you meet, old and new, it becomes like, how can I get them to see what I see? How can I get them in? How can I get them to join my team? What if one day they could do this with me? And then everything you do, that's what's in the back of your mind. Everybody turns into a mark. Maybe you don't like see it directly like, oh, I'm just trying to sign them up to make money off of them, but that's what's happening. Everybody turns into a potential recruit. When you're in, you're told that those people just don't understand, the people outside, us versus them mentality. The people outside, they don't understand. Here are where your true relationships are. Within the group, we're your real friends, we're your real family. But the truth is, those uplines, those people who are telling you that is the real transactional relationship. Because the second that you leave, they don't care about you anymore. They cared because they were making money off of you or had the potential to make money off of you. Okay, number 8 is a big one. I'm gonna try not to ramble, but we gotta talk about this cult thing. Network marketing companies operate, in my opinion, as commercial cults. And I know that sounds extreme. I know that word cult, to me, that word cult seemed like, oh, that seems way more serious than it actually is. But when you actually learn, because I didn't know anything about cults, when you actually learn about how cults operate and about how they recruit and some of the warning signs, you're like, oh my God, that describes network marketing. At least that was my reaction. So I'm going to try my best to explain this. I would recommend a book, or you can go to the Freedom of Mind website. Dr. Stephen Hassan has a book called Combating Cult Mind Control, which was the first book of his that I read. He also has a website called Freedom of Mind, and he talks about undue influence from destructive groups and kind of how to identify that. It's a great resource for everyone just to be aware of what red flags are out there. So I would definitely recommend exploring those resources. I'll link them below. And most of what I'm going to say here is what I've learned from some of those resources. So I am paraphrasing some of the things that Stephen Hassan talks about in his book. But essentially, network marketing companies operate as cults. Like, nobody joins a cult You get lured in, you get recruited in, and it's generally by a friend or a family member. It is the lifeblood of keeping cults alive. Same as network marketing companies, recruiting is the main thing. So they seek out talented, successful people. Members are indoctrinated to only talk about the positive things. They sugarcoat it all. They're also taught to kind of size up the recruit and learn about them so that they can sell them the cult in the best way that they feel will be most successful in getting them involved. They use mind control techniques throughout the recruiting and indoctrination process, and anybody can be susceptible to these. And what they do is they dull the critical thinking faculties of the recruit, so then they're unable to make an educated decision with informed consent about joining. They're like in before they realize what actually happened. So Dr. Stephen Hassan has the BITE model of mind control. BITE is an acronym. It stands for behavior, information, thought, and emotional control. And I'll just give you a few examples. Again, I highly recommend reading the book, and I do want to create more in-depth resources on this, so maybe that'll be a topic for another video in the future. If you'd like to see that, let me know. But essentially, behavior control is how you speak, how you dress, what you do throughout the day. Oftentimes, they start to add in little things that you need to do every single day. So like, for example, wake up and read 30 minutes of your Bible or a self-help book, and then reach out to 10 people about your business, and then follow up with 10 people about your business, and do 3 presentations a day, and also do a live video, or hop on this Zoom training, or come to this in-person social proof meeting. And slowly you realize that they're starting to control more and more blocks of your time, and essentially your behavior, because that then shapes the rest of your life around what they want you to do. The biggest form of information control used by network marketing companies is deception. They just don't give you the whole picture. And without providing you with the whole picture, they are robbing you of your ability to give informed consent. You aren't really giving informed consent if you don't know what you're signing up for. Essential strategies are withholding information, outright lying, or distorting information that get used on a daily basis. You're also told to not do your own research, not look things up on Google, not talk to ex-members, and not talk to anybody who's critical. Another similarity between network marketing companies and cults is that truth itself is multi-leveled. So depending on where you are in the organization, you know a different level of truth about the organization. And you're only told as much as you need to know to do your job at that level. So when you're at the bottom of the organization, at the bottom of the cult, or at the bottom of the pyramid, you know the basics. They want you to be ignorance on fire, just out there promoting the cause without really knowing what's going on. Once you become like a manager or rank and file leader, the curtain gets pulled back a little bit, but you still don't know the secrets of everything going on at the top. An environment is created where no matter where an individual is in the organization, they only know a certain amount, so it's impossible for them to make any objective assessment of what's going on. Thought control is teaching people how to manipulate their own thought processes in the way that lines up with the group's belief. You are taught to block out any information that's critical of the group using thought-stopping techniques. You're taught how to think about certain things. Oftentimes, this is where cults they make up their own language, which kind of creates an alternate reality, which also creates this us versus them mentality, because only the people in the group really know what's going on. Only the people in the group really know what those words mean and what you're really talking about. Emotional control is used to manipulate and narrow a member's range of feelings. Oftentimes, you're really only expected to experience positive ones. Things like happiness and success are defined by what the cult leader or the group's belief say those things are. And fear and guilt are heavily used to keep people in line. Phobias are instilled about leaving the group, about what will happen to you if you leave the group, about what will happen to you if you communicate with ex-members, what will happen to you if you speak out, what will happen to you if you don't do this for your family when it comes to the case of network marketing, what will happen to you if you just stay at your dead-end job. All these things are used to create phobias that are fake. You realize once you leave that it's really not all that scary and all of that was manufactured. But these are all things that are created to control you. And these are all things that interact. Behavior control, information control, thought control, emotional control. You control one and it affects the others. So by using 4 components of control altogether, this is how people get sucked in before they realize what's happened. This is how people stay in for years and years and years without actually questioning if it's good for them. All right, number 9. There is no real sales or business training of substance in MLM, which is another huge red flag as to why this income opportunity isn't really designed to help you make an extra $500 to $1,000 a month. Business training is laughable, even though they tell you that you are an independent business owner and the CEO of your own business. You're not. You're a 1099 contractor. You can form an LLC if your business gets to that point. I got some really bad advice about that, but they don't actually tell you about how to register your business with the state or the federal government. They don't teach you anything about taxes, paying them quarterly if you need to, or about how those free trips are actually reported as income by the company. They don't teach you how to do a profit and loss statement to keep track of, what you're actually putting in versus what you're getting out of it. You're not taught the difference between profit and revenue. So you have a lot of people out here claiming that they are 6-figure earners or top earners or $1 million ring earners without actually knowing what they're netting year over year. And you're not taught how to find quality leads consistently that will actually buy your product, because it's really not about selling the product, it's about recruiting. The things that you are taught are also pretty laughable when you look back at it. It's funny because you just are taught to just go to these trainings, even though they say the same thing over and over again, and you've convinced yourself that you're learning something new every single time. What you're really taught is how to manipulate others. You're taught how to give the least amount of information and get some people involved in something before they really know what it is. You're taught how to deal with objections like, it's a pyramid scheme. Side note, if a company ever has to spend time defending why it's not a pyramid scheme, it's probably a pyramid scheme. But that was the majority of the objection handling training that we were given. And it wasn't even really advice on how to effectively handle the objection. It was more of like a zinger and a one-liner that you can say back to people when they say that this is a pyramid scheme, because it is. A lot of these trainings consist of like just the stories of the top leaders. You hear the same stories over and over and over again. And it becomes, again, anecdotal. Hey, I did this, so this is how I did it. Just do what I did and you can get to where I am, which is just simply not true. It is not true. They are where they are because they recruited a huge downline and they got in at the right time, whether it was at the beginning of the company or the beginning of a new market, or they were bringing over a huge team, or they had a bridge contract. There's a lot of things that aren't talked about, but these same stories are shared over and over and over again to convince the new hopefuls that that could be them too. Company owners talk about the direction the company is going and some new products with these amateur PowerPoints that have little to no information. It's just feel-good stuff that they show at convention while they love bomb you. Love bombing being another cult tactic. They just make you feel so good for like literally nothing that you feel almost obligated to have this reciprocal enthusiasm and excitement. So they'll drop a new product and like at our convention, they would literally say, we're about to love bomb you, and then drop a piece of good news. Everyone's supposed to go wild over this and then, shell out some money to buy some more products from the company. That's what training is. And training usually costs a couple $100. So this brings us to our final point, which is that these businesses are legal scams. And they are defrauding 99% of the people who get involved with them. In my opinion, network marketing is essentially a long con, where a person or a group of people is systematically defrauding an individual and getting them more and more involved for a big payout in the end. The only difference I see is it isn't one huge payout. It's the money that a rep spends over their lifetime in a company. They can spend tens of thousands of dollars for little to no return. And that's why I'm here speaking out, firmly taking an anti-MLM stance. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and comment. Thank you for supporting me and my new channel. If you do want to see more of this type of content, please subscribe. I'll be diving deeper into my story, the companies that I was involved with, and some of the coaching content that is out there circulating that I've come across, that I've actually used when I was in, that was training for me, just to kind of expose what reps are being taught. I'll also be talking about, specific sales and recruiting tactics that are manipulative and like logical fallacies used by reps, things like that, to defend the industry. So I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in my next video.